Welcome with a new episode and on Mindset Mastery. And we have an amazing guest. This is your host, Ahmed Asaf, and we have an amazing guest from Poland, Andrzej. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you,
I hope
Ahmed,
you
for
spell your
having me.
I hope you spell your
Yeah,
name right.
you did well. You did well. Like, if it's gonna be easier for you, you can call me Andy.
Andy.
The essence behind the name is the same. It's the English translation. It's actually a Greek name. It means to be manly, to rule the world, and to hold the spear. So big shoes to fill in. Hope I'm doing a good job.
So you're doing now. You're traveling the whole world and you're doing great. So,
Yes, it looks so. Like I have been traveling from the west to the east, currently based in Thailand, Chiang Mai,
mhm.
learning from different people, learning from myself. I believe at one stage in life, the best teacher is life, but you need to have an open mind, empty mind, and have an ability to observe without any bias or judgment or attachment. Then life would be your greatest teacher.
Tell me more about that, please.
So, when we are born here, we have been given some tools not only to experience reality, but to co-create reality. The environment that we're in right here, right now, is a result of our thinking and emotion. So that means both emotions and thinking are tools. The problem is sometimes we allow those tools to use us, which is kind of crazy.
Mhm.
And when we allow it to be used by our thinking, we obviously overthink. If I could illustrate that with a story analogy, if there is a great dancer that great dances magnificently, impresses people with her movement, once she starts to second guess her movements, once she starts to overthink, she's gonna trip and the show will be over. It illustrates that you either live or you think about living. You cannot debuff. It's like going in left and right at the same time. You have to choose direction.
Mhm.
And many times our thinking just interferes with the process. Instead of using it for our benefit, we allow our thoughts to jump from tree to tree like a drunken monkey. And it's funny because if you look from the body perspective, the mind is very similar to computer. It runs on electricity, and we have limited amount of electricity, you could say. So if you spend that electricity, which is energy, on mundane stuff, you won't have energy to build great things. Kind of like if you would be saving for a house, but you spend money on everything that is within your reach, and then it turns out you don't have money for the house because you spend it on some stupid shit. Can I say that stupid shit?
It's okay.
I
So,
can say something else.
yeah, I'll put both. As we are living in three different planes of understanding, like a spirit, a mind, and the body, and they are all interconnected, as you said, together. Could you tell me how they are interconnected and how everything and how it starts from thinking to feeling and acting, and how it's all about our thoughts affecting
It
our.
is true. There was a great sage back in the day called Lao Tzu. He said, be aware of your thoughts. Thoughts will become your words. Your words will become your actions. The actions will become your experiences. And your experiences will eventually become your destiny. So if you don't watch your thoughts, well, it's like driving a car if you're not looking left and right, front or to the back. There's going to be an accident because you're creating something that you're not aware of, and that is a mistake. But the problem is we don't know how to use the mind correctly. Nobody taught us that. And the thing is, to use the mind correctly, you need to be consciously aware how it's being, how your environment is around you. Because if you think about, for example, recently I'm doing what is called surrender experience, or from the older tradition, Wu Wei, acting by not acting. So I operate from this quasi meditative state at all the time. And I'm like, I should only focus on what's here right now. But I got lost. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing a podcast recording. I'm then gonna get a massage and eat my favorite restaurant. Guess what happened? It started raining. I couldn't go outside. And all that energy that I invested in something that wasn't here got lost. And I could keep that energy to myself, making me more aware and see what possibilities I have right here, right now. But
Mm-hmm.
it's very tough because the mind, as I mentioned before, is very similar to computer, and computer have what? Software, programs. Many times those software have been installed during our early ages or early years by society, by our parents, by our experiences in life. And many times that software is faulty. Truth be told, in a long enough timeline, all of that software will be faulty. And the thing is, with a faulty software, no matter what input you provide, the output will still be a mess. So what you need to do is erase that software. And what you will notice then that the computer itself, which is the mind, is also operating at better frequencies. So by discarding what we have accumulated, we make space for the new things. And this is actually the secret of life. It's not about accumulating philosophies, religions, modalities. It's about letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And the bigger the attachment, the bigger you think there is value to what you hold on to, once you let go of that, the bigger the reward will be because you just made fantastic thing. It's similar to selling a car. If you have a great car, the more money you will earn. But if the car is not that great, there's only a little money that you can earn from this.
Mm-hmm. So if you're telling about a very sensitive thing, which is the program, or I could call you could call it the paradigm. This program came genetically from our dad and mom, and it came also environmentally from the school, the parents, from the how I was raised, and from even from work, from the society. So now, could you tell us more? Because you told us, okay, we have to really to just let it go and delete it, and now we need to replace it. How could I set a new program?
Not necessarily replace it.
Okay.
What's worth mentioning is that, well, there's the mind,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also an emotion, and they work in balance.
Mm-hmm.
So to give you an example, let's say we have an experience that has been created by our mind. Experiences are usually followed by emotions, and emotions are chemicals that have been released in our veins. Sooner than later, our body will be addicted to those chemicals running in our veins.
Mm-hmm.
So what will happen if we just change the program without changing the emotion? It's gonna create conflict because let's say there is a software called I am not worthy. You erase that software, you install the program I am worthy, but the emotions, the chemicals running in your veins says completely different. To illustrate that, it's similar if you would put a a glass with boiling water into the fridge. There's going to be two opposite forces clashing in that glass, which will result in that glass being broken. And in this scenario, the glass is your body. So that's very tricky, especially when you're discussing from NLP perspective, hypnosis. In many cases, if that is used incorrectly, it's like adding additional layer, additional illusion. Like, for example, people do hypnosis to not feel the pain, but the pain itself is a messenger, and
Mm-hmm.
you better open the door and see what the message is. And if you don't do it, probably the pain will show somewhere else till you actually confront that. So it's about doing both, but it's also about seeing what works for you because we're all different, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking only about perspective from like different society, different upbringing, different parents, different genes and DNA, but our souls are also different, although it comes from one source. And it seems like we are sparks of this great soul, and this great soul is using us as vessel to experience itself. But the soul also wants to experience different stuff. And it might be, for example, to see if the body can survive, or it can be see if the species of humankind can be prolonged. or even if the soul is able to use the mind correctly and have an open mind instead of having a closed mind. So there are so many different lessons to be learned. And the catch is that this is not a school and it's not about learning, it's about experiencing. But we have
Okay, so
microphone check. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, it's done.
that's okay. So you're talking about getting emotionally involved with that program, and I totally agree with that. But how much do you think it will take time? Okay,
Oh,
let's say give an example. I have a bad relation with money, okay, and I want to change that program. So how could I do that?
well, to change, for the change to be lasting, long lasting, we always need to get to the root cause of the issue.
Mhm.
And let's say we're going to ask questions to dissolve that or to understand the issue, where the issue lays. If it's a program like I am not worthy the money, I am afraid of success. So it's worth knowing what's underneath this surface level thought.
Mhm.
And usually for business people like us, we go out to the world to prove our worth, because at one stage of our life, we are not sure of our worth. So we go out there, we grind, we hustle, we do what's required for our products, for our services, to
Mhm.
really help people. And by helping them, we help ourselves. So our self-esteem rises. But if you compare what would happen if you have that value right from the day one, it would be a completely different experience. There wouldn't be no grind because you already know that you are enough. And many times people that I work with from the business world are struggling with this exact pattern, not being enough. And there are also obviously different causes of not being enough, but not being enough can be dismantled in many different ways. Let's take, for example, traditional Chinese medicine, which I believe is very good. So back in the day, Taoists, and you don't really have to be religious, Christian, Muslim, or Jew. Tao is like philosophy that comes from observing the world. So Tao sages of the past have been observing world, the humans, how they act and operate, and they found out that internal organs of our bodies are closely related to emotions. And the self-esteem, self-worth is an emotion of the spleen. And the spleen in traditional Chinese medicine is a system. So its explanation is very different than the explanation from the West.
Mhm.
So what happens then if the spleen is imbalanced or we have imbalanced emotions? It will show as a digestive issues like skin issues. There will be pimples or any poisons that are not digested correctly.
Mhm.
And how to fix that is basically you need to be aware, because that is the basis of pretty much everything. And the Taoists have found that the spleen resonates with color yellow. It's the natural color of the spleen, and also the sound, which is hu. And they also found that the positive traits from the spleen are fairness and openness. So if you know that point A is having low self-esteem and point B is being open and being fair, the only thing left is the journey, and you need to find the right vehicle. There are many techniques like the cosmic killing sounds. You can fix it using yoga, qigong, kung fu, or what I like to do, because those emotions are always hidden in the body, right? They are always hidden in the body. It seems like once during our life, there was an event that was bigger than us. So our brain is like, oh, no, no, no. I don't want this dude to feel pain. I'm going to take this event, put it in a little dark box, never ever to be found again. But here is a problem. That box is there, and you always carry it with yourself. It's like an invisible nail that is in your food that you don't see and that you can't get out. So what's going to happen is if you have that nail in your food, well, you're going to walk completely different. your posture gonna change. You're pretty much gonna drag that foot behind you so you don't feel pain. And the thing is, what we need to do is actually open that little box, see that emotion, don't judge it, don't think about it, let it feel, let it embrace, because it's an emotion and emotion doesn't last forever. And once you allow it to let go, it will be dissolved, that nail will be dissolved, and you will be a completely different person.
Amazing. You talk about letting go. How could letting go help us to overcome fear and overthinking?
Oh, well, think about it this way. If
Yes.
you have a shirt that's red color, and we're going to call it, on that shirt, there is a label called fear. And you don't like that shirt no more. So what you need to do is just take it off. The problem is that we don't know how, but we don't need to know how. We need to know why. So we really need to go deep and understand why it's happening. Why are we having fear? What is the cause of it? Is it that we are not expressing ourselves? Is it that we are afraid of expressing ourselves? Is it we are afraid of our environment? You need to ask yourself questions to a very core level till you understand the nature of this emotion. And once you understand it, you can change it. But even still, if you understand it correctly, the how to do it will find you on your own. Because the stronger the why, the cost of how is lower. And it's not our responsibility to know how. You could say that the fear is located many times in the lower back because it resonates very heavily with kidneys or the feet. So if you have like a cold feet or feet that are numb, it might be indication of fear. So just put focus there, don't judge, be present with it, allow it to resurface. There might be some events that are resurfacing to your mind, to your subconscious once you do this process. Just let it go. And obviously, we don't want to feel fear. So we're going to acquire a coping mechanism, not to confront that fear ever again. But once you let go of that fear, that layer will resurface regardless. Then it would be actually very baffling to see what you have been thinking before. And like, oh my God, is that really me? Did I really have those thoughts? That is crazy. And it's really a sign of changing because you no longer carry that fear. You no longer experience life through the lenses of fear. You can be whole.
Yeah, it's a matter of level of awareness. The more you are aware of yourself and your capabilities, because we never taught that. We never learned about that, about ourselves, about our capabilities. And the more we understand ourselves, the more we realize how much capabilities we have. So if you could tell like an insight or a message for the people who are searching for diamonds out of their acres, because everyone has sitting and sleeping on acres of diamond, but they are looking in the wrong direction, or they are looking in others' lands and different lands. So what would be your message to them?
I like to say that people be searching for gems on a trash dump.
Yeah.
They search externally, but the place that they should start searching is internally. All the answers that you need are right here, right now, and it starts with you. Don't allow yourself to be bombarded by information from the media, newspapers, or the social media. It's going to bombard you to a degree that you cannot consciously process that data. Your soul knows exactly what it wants to experience in this life. And your only objective, your only goal is to not interfere with the process. But somehow we always do it, man. Like we allow the ego to be the driver and the soul takes a backseat. And then we're like building from ego. And it turns out that we have built something that we don't really want, but we don't know how it happened. And we're starting blaming other people. Like, that's definitely not my fault. That's your fault, your fault, your fault. I'm innocent. And then it's like the spiral because you're taking away your power and give it to other people, because it's like saying, only once they change, I can change. But, I can say there's this poem by Sufi wise man. He said that yesterday I was a fool, I was trying to change the world. Today I'm a wise man trying to change myself.
Amazing, amazing. So the journey starts within. Start your self discovery and understand yourself so you can understand others. You could play like a victim, but it's your responsibility. Either be a victim or you could be a leader and lead yourself first. And you have the ability to lead yourself. Just if you're willing to do that and start that journey, move, do something
Yeah.
different.
The problem is being a victim, guess what? It's addictive because it follows this rush of chemicals. Oh my God, I'm getting pity. I don't have to change anything. It's so easy. Oh my God. I feel this rush of energy, emotions. I'm not gonna change. So it's very tough because we are getting addicted to ourselves, to the person that we are right here, right now. And we won't sacrifice that for the greater good of becoming a better person. And always the person that stands in between us and our goals is no one else but us. So we need to conquer ourselves. We need to tame our mind, tame our emotion, and then we can truly enjoy the beauty of life.
Yeah, amazing. It's I could tell to my audience this and I always tell them that. It's time to it's enough gathering information because they thought that it's all about I want more information because you know everything. You're
Yeah.
a walking encyclopedia. It's time for transformation. It's time to act, to move, to start doing the things and let your intuition guide you, as you
Yeah,
said.
like why would you carry some useless information in your head? That's stupid. Like it's a sign of not being enough because I need to know more because before I can be successful. Actually, not.
Yes.
It's the other way around.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling. It's time for transformation to move. And either you'll level up or you'll give up. Either of the camp.
Yeah.
You have to choose that. So don't surrender to that. Just level up every day, develop your talents and abilities and your capabilities, and you can do whatever you want. Just have a deep desire of what you really want, and you'll do it. Thank you. Thank you, Andy, for this amazing podcast episode. And you're most welcome to our episode, our podcast. You're most welcome. What will be last message to my audience?
Relax.
Relax.
Everything between heaven and earth is perfect. God doesn't make mistakes. If you're gonna fight your emotions, your thoughts, the universe will fight back and you will have conflict. And this friction between you and the universe will create heat, which will evaporate fluids in your body that people call burnout. And you will have no energy to move forward at all. Relax, take a deep breath, believe that everything is the way it should be, that God has perfect things for you in store, and it will happen.
Amazing message. So, as we said before, this universe, there's laws and it's God's laws. Once you are in harmony with those laws, you'll be successful in anything you want. It's not a secret. Everything works as per these laws. And there's laws for the mind and for success. Just look for it and just be in harmony with it, and you'll be successful. Thank you, Andrzej, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.